Litty titty, let's try again. Welcome back to Sorry I Can't, I'm Grounded. I'm Abby, and today we're diving into a topic that's often misunderstood but incredibly important. Inflammation. So when I was in nursing school, my first semester, we had to take pathophysiology. This topic is what got me hooked. This class is what made me realize that my purpose was related to medicine, because when I was an undergrad, I really didn't know, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll do physical therapy. That makes sense with like the things I like. And then I decided randomly first semester of senior year to apply to nursing school and kind of ditch the whole physical therapy thing. And I ended up falling in love with it. And this topic is exactly what made me fall in love with it. So anyways, I hope I do my professor justice while I talk about this. And first things first, if you remember anything from this podcast, you can forget everything else. Remember one thing: inflammation equals edema. Okay, with it being Invisible Illness Awareness Month, I want to shed light on chronic conditions that often go unnoticed, including my own experience with EDS. So, what exactly is inflammation? Let's break it down. Sorry. What is inflammation? Okay, so inflammation is just your body's way of healing itself. Like, it is your body's natural response to injury or infection. Think of it like your body's alarm system. So when something goes wrong, it sends in the troops to start the healing process. There's two different kinds of inflammation. There's acute, which is what I think most people think of when you're thinking of inflammation. And then on the other side, there's chronic. So, I mean, the definitions are kind of self-explanatory, but they have completely different symptoms that you're going to see. Acute inflammation is this short-term response, that immediate sending in the troops. On the other hand, you have chronic inflammation, so inflammation that doesn't go away over time. So it's like a car alarm that just won't turn off. It can linger on after the initial injury has healed and may contribute to diseases like arthritis or even heart disease. A study published in Nature Reviews suggests that chronic inflammation can lead to a multitude of health issues, including metabolic disorders and cardiovascular diseases. Basically, because it's leaving stuff behind. When your body sends in all of the cells that attack an injury or an infection, they are supposed to get pushed out, or like your cells engulf the stuff that's not supposed to be in your body. So like when stuff lingers, that's when you have disease over a long time, and that car alarm, your body's not stopping the signal saying, hey, something's wrong. That's when your body basically starts attacking itself. It's like it's doing exactly the opposite of what it should be doing, which is super interesting, but we'll talk more about it as we go through. It's honestly like an incredible process that our body has the capability to do this. And through this podcast, I want to kind of uncover those secrets that our bodies have within us that, I don't know, Western medicine might have downplayed because they can't prove it exactly. Like Western medicine is very, I see something, I fix that. You have to have proof, it's evidence-based, which is fantastic. It's just led to where medicine is today. But I think the advancement of medicine is gonna be knowing the line between when, hey, we need to let our bodies just take care of this, and then this is something that we need medication for, like a little boost to get our body to kick in, our own healing process to kick in. So we aren't so reliant on medications as a society. Because, I mean, just as someone who's taken a bunch of different ones throughout the years, they don't feel great. And if there's one that is kind of addictive, withdrawal is miserable. Like, we need to do so. The process of inflammation at the cellular level, I think, is something that my pathophysiology teacher, I'll never forget it. She engraved this in our head. And what was this phrase again? Inflammation equals edema. So like, what is edema? Edema equals fluid. When you understand that, makes it at the cellular level make way more sense. So how does inflammation actually work at the cellular level? Well, so your body detects injury. So then once it, sends that signal that there's an injury or an infection, two things are going to happen. Vasodilation and increased membrane permeability. So this is where things get interesting. Your blood vessels are going to dilate, so get bigger and widen. So more blood, more fluid can flow to the affected area. Imagine a fire truck arriving at the scene. It's sending in resources to deal with the problem. Increased membrane permeability allows white blood cells to exit the bloodstream and head to the site. So it kind of like makes little spaces in your blood vessels. So it exits that and it goes to the site of injury to help fight off any pathogens and start the healing process. So then you have your immune response. The immune response kicks in, involving various cells that work together to clear out all the debris. For example, if you sprain your ankle, the area might become swollen, red. So the swelling is also called edema. Like I said, what inflammation equals edema. Like they literally mean the same thing. So red, warm, it's going to be like a sharp pain. The patient is going to, or not patient. Get out of nursing school, Abigail. It's going to be more of a sharp stabbing pain when described, and that is your body just taking care of it like it's supposed to when injury or infection hits. So imagine this. You accidentally cut your finger while you're chopping vegetables. Ouch, right? Instantly, your body throws up an SOS signal. Your immune system sees this and goes crawling back up. And who's the first to arrive on the scene? Your white blood cells called neutrophils. These guys are like the SWAT team of your immune system. They make up a majority of your white blood cells, and the moment trouble is detected, and I mean the moment, they rush out of your bone marrow and go straight to the injury or infection, whatever. And now, what do these neutrophils do when they show up? Well, think of them kind of like Pac-Man, but way more intense. They immediately start what's called phagocytosis. I really don't know, and I'm gonna look it up so I can say it right. It might be like an either or kind of thing. Let's see. Okay, phagocytosis. I don't need to hear it anymore. They immediately start something called phagocytosis. This is just a fancy term for your neutrophils or your Pac-Man gobbling up any bacteria, fungi, just anything that's not supposed to be there that they come across. So once these bad guys, invaders, are trapped inside, the neutrophils unleash their secret weapon, which are powerful enzymes that destroy the enemy from the inside out. It's like a demolition job, but with a microscopic punch. But wait, that's not all. You thought I was done. Nope. When the situation gets too dicey, neutrophils have another trick up their sleeve. This is called degranulation. So think of this as them tossing grenades, like toxic grenades, into the battlefield. So like these toxic bombs explode, and they release chemicals that destroy anything in their path, making sure no pathogen gets out alive. Pathogen meaning invader, bad thing. Something that's not supposed to be in your body. But they don't stop there. No. These neutrophils have one more wild card up their sleeve because they need to make sure that, these invaders are gone. And that's called neutrophil extracellular traps, or NETs, nets. Basically, they're Spider-Man, which is really freaking cool. Neutrophils can shoot out their sticky webs of DNA to trap these pathogens. These webs catch bacteria and stop them from spreading. They're like, where do you think you're going? Pew, pew, trapped. Boom. You're gone. But Neutrophils don't work alone. As they're doing this, they're sending signals to call in for reinforcements. So these signals are called cytokines, which act like distress flares, basically. These cytokines scream, "Hey, yo, we need more help down here." And what happens? More immune cells, macrophages, dendritic cells, rush to the site to help our, main guy, our neutrophils out, because, he can't do it all alone. It's like an epic action movie where the whole team comes together to save the day. It's literally the Avengers, but it's happening in your body. I know that's so geeky and nerdy, but it's so cool that this is all happening, probably, for me right now, but for most people right now, as you're sitting here listening, watching to this, the Avengers are avenging in your body. But inflammation isn't just a chaotic free-for-all. It's controlled chaos. So it's Captain, giving everyone a pep talk before, and they kind of have a plan. But then, when they get there, usually the plans go to shit. But at least they had some kind of control over, or idea of what the goal was. While all these immune cells are busy fighting, your body ramps up blood flow to the area, which is what causes all the redness and heat that you notice. So it is pushing blood to the site because blood flow makes your body go, okay? This is actually a really good thing. I know it feels uncomfortable, but this is so important. More blood flow means that more immune cells can get to your injury site. More immune cells, more nutrients are going towards the site of injury to help you heal. The swelling? Well, what did I say? Inflammation equals edema. Edema equals fluid. And if you have more fluid going to one area, what's going to happen? But this is what the body does to create a buffer zone to contain the infection or damage. Literally putting a dome around to keep it all contained. And then pain, well, I'm sorry, but your body is literally repairing itself. And pain is your body's way of saying, hey, take it easy. Stop being Superman and let me be Superman for a second, So, pain is a good thing when you listen to it and can recognize it as a body sensation. So, now, as cool as that sounds, there is a catch. Sometimes these neutrophils can be too good at their job. If inflammation doesn't switch off properly, things can get out of control. This is when acute inflammation turns into chronic inflammation, and the constant presence of neutrophils can start damaging healthy tissues. This means your immune cells are starting to attack your healthy cells, which should never ever happen. So that's where you see a lot of these autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD, where these neutrophils are literally wreaking havoc in areas where they should be cooling down, revving down. At the end of the day, though, neutrophils are true superheroes of your immune system. Rapid, relentless, and absolutely necessary for you, my Lord Jesus Christ, for your body to fight off infections. But like any good superhero, they need balance. Your body loves homeostasis. Homeostasis is just your body, not the general population, your body's equilibrium. This, the weight, the fluid balance, the nutrients, the, proteins, fats, everything. When that is at balance, that is when you are at homeostasis. Yes, there is a general range for everything, but science needs to be more focused on you and medicine, you as a person. When you get your blood work done and you get a CMP and they're showing you your salt and your potassium and whatnot, yeah, there's a range for a healthy adult, but these electrolytes don't like to change more than a few points because your body loves homeostasis so much. like in my case, when I went into adrenal crisis, my salt was still in the healthy adult range. So they didn't think twice about it. They accidentally treated it just with basic protocol. When I went to a chiropractor and he sent my blood labs to a functional doctor, they were concerned about how much my salt was changing, but it was still within the range. So the doctors were like, you're crazy. So, yeah, rant over. But body loves homeostasis. Chronic inflammation just makes that go to shit, let's be honest. And that is the cellular process of inflammation. I hope you enjoyed that little segment, and we're moving on. All right. So the resolution phase is when finally inflammation resolves and then your tissue repair starts occurring. So your body actually starts healing. And then we talked about chronic inflammation for when your body doesn't ever stop healing itself. So it starts attacking it and destroying your healthy tissues. Let's talk about its hidden impact. Chronic inflammation, when your immune response goes awry, and some of the hidden impacts it can have on our bodies that most doctors don't talk about, and we don't learn how to not have this happen as a society when we should. Like, this is important, and just because we can't necessarily prove it 100% right now doesn't mean it isn't as important as it is. Like, for me and my disorder, this was the hidden secret. When I started treating these things, that's when I started having pain relief. So let's get into it. When you're inflamed or is having the inflammation response, it is bringing blood flow or increasing fluid, edema. It is pushing all of the fluid out of your tissues into the site that your inflammation response is attacking. If it keeps pulling fluid out of the tissues, it's dehydrating your fascia. So over time, if you don't rehydrate your fascia through movement, proper hydration, calcification starts to occur. This is what causes you pain and discomfort and starts restricting movement because you're not getting it out. And this often results into a phenomenon called spiraling. So your posture starts spiraling and your muscles start to compensate for pain or instability by creating patterns that can twist and spiral through your connective tissue, leading to even more discomfort. What also happens is inflammation can cause for a long time, can cause skin thickening, which occurs when the body tries to protect itself. And then it starts to limit your range of motion and mobility because you just have a bunch of skin that's not supposed to be there, which I think is why people with chronic inflammation typically have things like joint pain, like that's a very common symptom, or nerve pain, because you only got so much space in your body and you have a crap ton of stuff trying to fit perfectly. And like I said, your body likes to stay the same, homeostasis. So this thickened skin and the spiraling can limit your mobility, pinch nerves, and even cut off circulation. It's like your body is trying to build armor to protect itself. But sometimes that armor can be too much of a good thing. It's like you had great intentions, but the result was not helpful. You did too much. So then you start having these postural imbalances because if you have pain and a pinched nerve and it cuts off circulation, you're gonna start moving every day differently. And when you move differently, you are not having your joints in the right alignment. You are not using the right muscles. So certain muscles are getting bigger and others are getting smaller. And what did I say? You only got so much space. And it's supposed to be in a certain position.
So if one muscle that you're compensating with, like you're not supposed to use as often, so it's supposed to be smaller, gets really big, there's a very high chance that it's going to be pinching nerves and cutting off circulation too. And so like some of these common postural imbalances we're having is like everyone sits like this now. So we're having skin thickening in the shoulders. We're using the wrong muscles around here. Our necks are getting super tight, which makes our head tight and our face tight. So I wonder, I'm not a professional. Do you think this is part of the reason mental illness is getting so bad is because we're not teaching people how to move and then they're not moving enough? Like back in the day, every single job pretty much required movement. Our lives were so revolved around movement, and as a species, we are made to move. We are made to walk. So as we're not having the correct posture, and then this chronic inflammation kicks in all of us, and then the posture of our society, or just common imbalances of our society, are making all the muscles around our head and neck and chest, our vital organs, tight and inflamed and everything. Do you think that could be the reason the mental health crisis we're having is happening? Or do you think it's more so they didn't know about it back then and people still had just as many problems? Again, I wonder. So just to keep this scientific, the Journal of Pain Research says that myofascial pain syndromes, which I have diffuse myofascial pain syndrome, are complex conditions that often go unrecognized, leading to a cascade of chronic pain and dysfunction. Again, pain is a good thing. It's your body saying, hey, take some time, rest, let me take the wheel. But it's a reminder that the body communicates in ways we sometimes overlook. So listening, having body awareness, which, I mean, we got rid of PE for God's sake. Like, if we're not encouraging our kids to learn how to move correctly, I understand all of the reasoning behind getting rid of PE, but we need to find an alternative because this is getting ridiculous. Like, as a exercise science major, personal trainer, wanting to be fitness health coach, whatnot, trying to explain how to properly move your joints to someone who is an adult who has never ever learned how and has all of these, or myofascial adhesions is what I'm gonna call it. Myofascial adhesions and has super limited mobility. Like, it's basically like trying to get someone to do something right when they have a box or fence this big. We need to be teaching our kids how to move properly. Like, I am so grateful for my parents who put me in gymnastics dance. And yeah, I wasn't supposed to do that with Ehlers-Danlos because of dislocations and just me being a little bit more fragile. But it taught me how to properly align my joints, and it gave me such amazing body awareness. Like, I can think about doing a certain movement and then do it exactly how I pictured it in my head. Or I can think about flexing a specific muscle and I can flex just that muscle, not the whole muscle group, whatever. Or not whatever. It's pretty cool. But we need to have some kind of program like Nadi's functional patterns exercise program that is taught to kids in school. Make it a way where it's fun so they are growing up knowing how to move properly. And I think that it's going to make us evolve into I don't even know. But if people have what some religions call enlightenment or awareness, that's what they're talking about, is this mind body connection where I can think and then rant over, TED Talk over. Chronic inflammation is linked to common autoimmune symptoms such as fatigue, because what is pain? Your signal to rest. Let your body take the wheel. Joint pain, I talked about that earlier. Digestive issues, just, generalized aching. As noted by the Journal of Autoimmunity, chronic inflammation is a key factor in the pathogenesis of various autoimmune diseases, meaning that we talked about earlier, the body never stops trying to heal itself, which then leads to damage. And this brings us to the often dismissed conditions that affect so many individuals. So many. And it's getting worse because, like I said, we're not teaching people how to move. And our bodies are already inflamed from not moving properly and not sitting right and just not drinking, being super dehydrated, not getting enough sunshine, not moving enough as a society. It's affecting so many more people, and they don't even know it because we don't teach people how to recognize sensation in their bodies or emotion. Like, they can't distinguish between hunger and anxiety now, or hunger and depression. It's like, oh, my blood sugar is low. You're gonna feel all right. That was such a good freaking ending, and none of it recorded. So let's try to get through this pretty quickly. I'm gonna restart a diet, see what works better. So what you eat matters. Processed foods, all that crap, sugars, trans fats, that all can promote inflammation because our bodies are not supposed to have the nasty shit put in them. So guess what our body does? It starts attacking it. It's not super intense. Our bodies are able to compensate. We're conscious enough as human beings that we can push through it, but it's still inflammation. Inflammation somewhere in any part leads over time will always lead to more inflammation everywhere because you keep compensating. It keeps spiraling, it keeps thickening, things get cut off, things harden. If you don't get rid of it, whatnot, it's never going to go away. It's just going to get worse. So diets that can help, they're going to be rich in fruits and vegetables, fatty fish, nuts and spices. All right, lifestyle changes, exercise, not just 20 minutes a day, but being conscious of making sure that you are moving frequently throughout the day. You aren't staying put. No prolonged positions. The quality of your sleep, not how much you sleep, the quality, and stress management are all crucial in managing inflammation. Moving your body is not just about fitness, like I said. It's about keeping inflammation in check. The more you move, like movement to keep inflammation in check will include talking, smiling, laughing, singing, dancing, anything. Like all of these things that are known to make people happy also keep inflammation in check when you think about it. Cool. It's all really cool, and I just want to research.
Okay, supplements. Let's go back to that. So, while getting my degree in exercise science, we learned that not all of them have to be regulated by the FDA. So we watched a documentary on how they literally sold a sugar pill and said it was going to help people lose weight. It's a sugar pill. And people bought it. And, they made money. Obviously, that's illegal. It's fraud. But the FDA doesn't have to be involved. So look for stuff that has FDA approval, or just be very cognizant about what you're doing and know what's in what you're putting in your body. Like literally, you are what you eat. Moving on. I want you guys to get involved in this podcast as much as possible. I want to hear from you. I want share your experiences with inflammation. I want to hear other people with EDS. I want to see how what tips and tricks you have because I'm struggling. Help. What strategies you found helpful. I just want to create a supportive community where people can have their voices or feel comfortable sharing their story. Because damn, it took me so fucking long to be able to share my story, and I'm still not comfortable. Oh, so nervous. Anyways, to recap, understanding inflammation as a healing process is crucial. It's not the problem. It's part of our body's secret weapon. You can heal yourself. You have the power. without even trying. That's super cool. Embrace it. Thank you for joining me today and listening to me talk about something I'm obviously very passionate about that's affected my life a lot, and this journey of awareness and healing that we're on. I mean, that's life, really, is learning this, getting to this state of cognizance. So anyways, stay happy, stay healthy, reach out. And there are 2 things I want to talk about before we go, because I don't have ads, because I'm not that cool yet. First, I am launching my online community called the Cognitive Conditioning Institute. Sounds super fancy, but it's not. It's just a cool name that I thought of. Basically, I want to work out our brains, because again, they're a muscle. You don't work out a muscle consciously. You don't know how to use it properly. Work out your brain. And that is by silence. No one likes it, but it's the truth. You have to be still to be able to tune in, turn off the mind, to listen to the body. Let your body take over. It desperately wants to if you're in pain. Let it do its job. Okay, yeah, that will be launching soon. I'll probably talk about it in more podcasts. All my social media is up now for this podcast, so all of the promo stuff is going to get posted after this episode. 2. Invisible Illness Awareness Month is now. October, spooky season. Yeah, because it's invisible and people don't understand it. It's spooky, let me tell you. Anyways, before we wrap everything up, this is so important. You don't know how, my dad used this word the other day, soul crushing it is to have your body fail you, to have the doctors that you're supposed to trust tell you it's all in your head. You're faking it. You're not trying hard enough. So then what does everyone else around you think? What the doctors say, not what you're saying. Your reality becomes wrong. How does that not affect your mental health on top of your body going to shit? It's just a different way to think about everything. It's my reality, but this is important. So listen, you're grounded in here with me right now. You have to, bitches. So many of us, like literally, it's increasing. Many of us are living with these conditions that aren't immediately visible to the outside world. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not real and not happening. Like, didn't we learn that years ago? These invisible illnesses, can be seriously debilitating for people. For me, my mobility is a problem. I am constantly in a 7 out of 10 pain. And that's just normal. My joints can dislocate at any given time if I move wrong. But do I look healthy right now, other than I'm kind of underweight? Yes. You would never know how many masks I am wearing just to go out in society. So, if you don't understand something, you don't have the right to talk about it. I'm sorry. You have the right to ask questions and learn, and then maybe one day talk about it. And you also people don't have the right dismiss other people's realities, ever. Your reality is real. That doesn't mean it can't be improved, which is where, most of our loved ones are trying to go when they're telling us that our realities are wrong. But it's like, we already know all of this. We have to sit and have everyone tell us that we're pieces of shit, faking it. What else are we supposed to believe if the doctors are saying the same thing? Where does our self-worth go because of this? When all it takes is someone asking a question to validate your reality. That's all it takes. Just caring enough to ask instead of assume. Because every single person on this planet is different. And every single person's reality is different. And every single person's reality is valid. All their feelings, all their experiences, all their symptoms, they're all valid. No matter what. No matter if you don't agree with them, they're still valid. And you have to acknowledge that. You accept it, and you either let it go if it's not for you and move on, or you grow and learn and one day can educate others on it, you know? That's the only way we've learned as a whole society, too. That's how learning works. I don't know why. I had to go through 2 years, and people go through way worse than what I mean, again, I can't even say that. Cut that off. Everyone's experience is valid, and you can't compare anyone's lives because they're all so different, and they're all different people with different emotions and different genes. So cool. Let's cherish that beautiful aspect of humanity. Like, why are we making it a bad thing? Being unique is what makes us human. Having your own story, sharing that story, is the only thing that makes being human worth it. If you don't share your story with the people you love, and you stay isolated because everyone's telling you your reality isn't real, all of that knowledge, all of you dies with you. You have to share your story. Otherwise, when you leave this earth, all of us just have to deal with the loose connection, the missing pieces. The world, everyone fits perfectly together. Like, not every single person, but like everything happens for a reason. But you have to share your experiences with the people you love for it to work. Okay, sorry, TED Talk over. I don't even know if I like that, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, so back to the invisible illnesses. They are debilitating, if you couldn't understand that from the amount of emotion I had just talking about that. We've all heard the comments. You're faking it. It's all in your head. You're being dramatic. You're lazy. You're delusional. The ignorance can sometimes make us feel even more isolated as we push through the pain to function in a society that isn't designed for us and doesn't accommodate for us. Like, did you know the average diagnostic time for these conditions is around 20 years? Sometimes 50. I mean, I've had a provider personally tell me that I was too young and too pretty to be in as much pain as I was saying I was experiencing. And that he said, what about when you have a kid and a full-time job and are like an actual adult? And I said, well, if I still haven't figured this out by the time I want to be a mom, that'll never happen because I'm never bringing a kid into this world while I feel like this. And how dare you use my beauty to justify me not being in pain? That's an interesting topic. Maybe that'll be a podcast episode. Let me reassure you, your symptoms are valid, real and valid. I believe you. It's not at all in your head. You're not alone in this fight, and your experiences matter. And to the loved ones of those with invisible illnesses, if they feel comfortable enough to open up about their experiences and their symptoms, just listen. Just listen. Don't dismiss their feelings and symptoms or tell them they're wrong simply because you don't understand or science doesn't understand yet. Use it as an opportunity to learn and strengthen that bond and relationship. If you don't understand, ask questions. By asking questions, it even encourages us with invisible illnesses to tune in and maybe figure out a symptom better. Recognize patterns, because we don't learn anything. It's just such a vague experience until you tune in and you're like, okay, what specifically is wrong? For those living with these illnesses, don't be scared to go within. I know society makes it scary, and your body is so used to not going within that it's making it seem like it's scary. Discomfort is not a bad thing. It means you're growing. But your body is made to heal itself. It's telling you exactly what you need. As Dr. K reminds us, no amount of building something good will remove something bad. You can't just build on top of a bad foundation and expect the bad foundation not to still be there. Or the hilarious example he uses is that if I give you a glass of water and then I piss in it, no amount of sugar you add is going to remove the piss. They are independent of each other. To remove the piss, you have to remove the sugar and the water. To heal, you must first have awareness of what your body is telling you is wrong. And then you have to trust those signals and honor what your body's communicating to then heal and fix, to build something good. Fix the problem. So let's take a moment to educate ourselves. That's why we're here every week. And those around us, if you or someone you know is dealing with an invisible illness, or just any illness, remind them that there's so many communities ready to support them and listen and uplift one another. Join the conversation. Let's break the silence. Share your experiences and advocate for better understanding and support. For more information, go to the Invisible Illness Awareness Association's website. Just Google it. It'll come up to learn how you can get involved and locally and globally and raise awareness on this. Let's stand together and let's make invisible illnesses visible to the world. Our voices need to be heard. And I hope through me sharing this, it gives you guys some courage to take one teeny tiny step closer to sharing your story with someone or something. Journals are great. They give you a lot of courage to then keep going. You got this, keep going. That's my favorite phrase right now, other than here comes the sun. I love you all, little darlings. Big smooches. Ta-ta for now. And I will see you guys next week.